I want to get into the detailed version of how to go straight down the road. There are wobblers and there are drifters. The drifters, they hang on the steering wheel, and when the car moves, they don't do anything. They just go drifting off. Most people are wobblers. Wobblers turn the wheel more than what they need. Now I could say to you, if it's dry pavement, go and wobble. You'll be just fine. But if you hit that black ice, if you hit a water puddle, if you're driving down the road, you run off the edge of the road into the gravel, maybe you're going through a construction zone, you're driving at night, little skinny road at night. In all of these scary situations, I could say, turn the wheel just the amount that you need to turn it. Don't overcorrect it. Dry pavement, go ahead and wobble. I could say that. Or I could say, let's just find the best way and make it a habit. The best way is to turn the steering wheel a very small amount. Now, there's only one position to go straight down the road. By watching people for the last 20 years, I've been teaching young drivers for the last 20 years how to drive, I have figured out the position to go straight down the road. Put your shoulders back, take your wrists, put them on top of the steering wheel, you should have a small bend. Put your hands down to 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, maybe even a little bit higher. We grip the wheel firmly, relax the thumbs, we drop our arms, the wrists are straight, you're looking far down the road, your feet are balanced, left foot's on the dead pedal. Dead pedal will keep you in your seat if you're going off the road. Right foot's on the gas, take a deep breath if you're nervous, and just turn that steering wheel that very, very small amount. That's all you have to turn the steering wheel, that very small amount. So this is the correct position. Now I've come up with a couple of theories as to why bending the wrist causes people to wobble, or just putting the thumbs on the steering wheel. See, so many people teach you to just squeeze the wheel like that with your thumbs, or put the thumbs on the wheel. Don't do it. We have the pencil theory. What can you draw a straighter line with? A long straight pencil or a short little stubby pencil? Of course, a long straight pencil. These are long straight pencils. You're pulling with your arms, just that very small amount. You do this, you're basically turning the wheel with your stubby pencils. You do this, same idea. People that drive like this, they're steering with their hands. We want to just be able to pull down that very small amount. Very important. I hope you guys can figure this out. We have the thread and the needle hole theory, or for you people that like to fish, we have the fish line and the eye of the fish hook theory. If you take a thread or a fish line, and you take a needle or an eye of a fish hook, and you tense up, it's not going to go. Or if you just relax, it'll go right on in. Make a fist. Put your finger on your forearm muscle. Squeeze and relax, squeeze and relax, squeeze and relax. You feel that muscle? Make a firm grip. So the book says have a firm grip. I'm fine with a firm grip. But I'm saying there's different levels of firmness. Relax your thumb. Thumb up, thumb down, thumb up, thumb down. As you can see, just putting the thumb against the steering wheel will tense up that muscle right there. Same idea with the wrist. Make a firm grip, relax your thumb. I want you to pull down just that very, very, very small amount with your arm, as small as you can move the arm. Now go ahead and bend your wrist and move it down that very small. Now when I do it, it goes down a little bit more. I am trying to teach people how to turn that wheel that small amount. So when they do hit black ice or a water puddle, they're not going to overcorrect. Hand position, we've got 10 and 2, we have 9 and 3, we have 8 and 4. This is the position right there that we want to be in. Right there. Now the airbag people are telling us to put our hands lower. They're saying have your hands down here, maybe even down here. If they had their way, you'd be wobbling down the road just like this. What they're saying is that if your hands are higher and the airbag goes off, your wrist could get broken. They say if your hands are higher and you hit somebody and your hands are knocked off the steering wheel, you're not able to steer towards a soft object. I heard one other reason for having your hands lower. They say if your hands are here, you can go maneuverability, where if your hands are up here, you can only go maneuverability. Okay? I told you in a previous lesson that there was a video, this lady hit somebody at 55 miles per hour. Everything was broken, she said. So I'm thinking if you hit somebody at 55 miles per hour, everything's going to be broken anyways. Who cares if the wrists are broken too? As far as hitting somebody being deflected away, she said her car bounced backwards up onto a guardrail. She didn't have to say, oh, where's my soft object? As far as maneuverability, you're going down the road at 55 miles per hour, you do not go maneuverability. You'll flip your car. Maybe, if your hands are up here and you slam on your brakes, you can slow down enough, you might want to go maneuverability. So the airbag people are saying your wrist could get broken. In my opinion, they've probably been sued. Somebody's wrist got broken, they sue the airbag companies. So now the airbag companies are out there saying, hey, we're going to just change the way you hang on the wheel. We're going to put our hands lower. Some of you are probably out there thinking, well, I know what to do. I'll put my hands lower. I'll put them lower like they tell me, and that'll make me wobble, and when I lose control, I'm going to sue them and say, you told me to put my hands lower, and that made me wobble, and that's why I lost control. You're not going to be able to, because everybody wobbles. They all wobble down the road. You think they know what I'm teaching you? Let me open up the textbook here. This is the driver ed textbook. If we turn to steering control. I'm sure any of your textbooks that you have, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. What they're saying is grip the steering wheel firmly at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock or at 8 and 4. So they're not even teaching 10 and 2 anymore. There's no law that says you can't have your hands at 10 and 2. It says here, with your thumbs normally resting on the steering wheel. The hardest thing to get people to do is to let those thumbs hang so those muscles are not tensed up. They're actually saying normally you just rest them on the steering wheel. They say look far ahead at the center of the lane where you wish to travel. We're fine with that. We look far down the road. Even on straight roads, small course corrections will be necessary. I'm fine with that. That's what we're doing. We're making small course corrections. We're just turning that wheel that very small amount. Keep your hands on the steering wheel and move the wheel and hands together. If you're moving the steering wheel often, look further ahead. So they're saying if you're wobbling down the road, just look further down the road. That should help you not turn the wheel as much. They have no clue that the reason that people are wobbling is because of that tension in the forearm muscles. Then they talk about dry steering. Dry steering is turning your tires when the car is not moving. It's not good for the tires or the front end parts. This is it. This is all they're talking about. Now they're talking about how to do hand over hand, how to do the push-pull also. But as far as going straight down the road, they just don't know. They don't know what we know. I hope by me going over this with you, you are actually able to figure this out. I go out there and I teach kids, and I'm actually out there on the road with them so I can kind of show them. But I think most of you've had driving experience probably. You should be able to figure out this simple little thing. You grip the wheel, you relax your thumbs. About 10:30, 1:30, you can't be too close, can't be too far, you have to concentrate. If I don't concentrate, I'm kind of bouncing down the road. I remember this one morning I was driving down the road, my car is bouncing around, and my thumbs and arms are hanging. I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out why my car is bouncing around. I had tension in my arms. I did not even know it. I took a deep breath. I relaxed my arms, and I was just able to turn that wheel that very small amount. Let me tell you about hydroplaning. I remember my mother told me once that she was on the expressway, she hit a water puddle. Her car spun around, the front bumper hit a guardrail, the back bumper hit a guardrail, and she's sitting there telling me, she's saying, I hope you're teaching these kids about hydroplaning. Right away I knew why she hydroplaned. She would say it would be the water puddle. I said, Mom, what's your hand position? And she said, well, this is what I was taught in driver's ed. It makes you wobble when your hands are not even across from each other. Okay? I was in the store. This lady walked in there and she says, watch out there on the expressway. I hit black ice and my car spun around and everybody moved out of my way. I wanted so bad to say, lady, what's your hand position? They don't know, guys. They don't know this. Hopefully you can figure this out. Okay? So, in the previous lesson I was talking about if your speed is higher, your hands are higher. If your speed's lower, your hands are lower. So I'm thinking if you hit somebody at 25, 35 miles per hour, they hit you. I'm thinking you're not going to have legs and arms broken, so we don't want wrists broken. I'm thinking at a slower speed, you may hit somebody and be deflected away, so we don't want our hands knocked off the steering wheel. And I'm also thinking, if you're going at a slower speed, there might be a situation where you might want to go maneuverability, especially if you drive like this. If you follow with 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds from people, you better be ready to go maneuverability when they slam on their brakes. Of course, we drive with a 6-second following distance. At 6 seconds, you can see and think clearly. We usually don't have to go maneuver all over the place around cars that slam on their brakes. So, this is where we come up with the whole idea, the speed is higher, the hands are higher, speed lower, hands lower. Now, as far as turning, I think everybody knows how to do the hand over hand. The hands are 10 and 2, and we turn them both hands, go at the same time. When this hand's at 12 o'clock, this hand reaches over, and these small ones seem to work better. I see some people try to go like that. Just do small ones. Then we have the push-pulls. Now, I've heard this called shuffles, push-pull. This book actually calls it hand-to-hand steering. So basically what we have here is that this is the steering wheel. This is 9 and 3, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. This hand pushes up about an hour and a half. So it pushes up to 10:30. This hand reaches up to 1:30 and pulls down. So basically your hands, just open up one hand, close the other, and your hands are 9 and 3. We push up, we reach up, we grab, we open, and we go back down. These push-pulls, the small ones, seem to work better. Now the way these people are explaining how to do these push-pulls is they're saying to do great big ones. They're having you do something like that, great big ones. What I like about the push-pulls, the way I'm teaching you, the small ones, is if you turn the steering wheel the correct amount, if you turn it the correct amount when you turn in the corner, if you have the correct speed as you're going around the corner, and if you let it slide at the right time, it'll slide right between your fingers. So this is what's good about these. You're able to turn it the small amount. This, who knows how much you're turning the wheel. Now, these automobile makers, I can understand why they're telling you to do the great big ones. They do not want you to do the hand over hand. They're saying that when your hands are crossed over, if the airbag goes off, your wrist could get broken. This all goes right back to the airbag. So, if you have a sharp turn, you're close to the curb, and you need to turn right next to the curb, push-pulls, even if you do these, push-pulls, it's a slower way to turn. Hand over hand is a faster way to turn. So you're not, if you're doing them this size, you got a sharp turn, you might have to do like 3 or 4 small ones. It just takes too long. So what I'm saying is, if you have a sharp turn, just do hand over hand. I'd probably say 70% of the time you can get away with doing these push-pulls. A lot of left turns, you can turn sooner. You just boom, boom, you're there. Right turns, if you're at a stop sign, you're taking a right turn. You just pull up there, point yourself to the right, maybe roll up there, do a little push-pull. Then you just finish up with a couple of push-pulls. Now let me talk about searching when you're turning. So you're stopped at a stop sign. Let's say you're taking a right turn. You're looking back and forth. When you start going, you need to look again the opposite way. You start moving, look again the opposite way. If you're going straight across, you're looking When you take off, look left, that's the first lane you're crossing, then look right, that's the second lane you're crossing. The problem with push poles that I do not like is that the hands have to be here. Now I typically have my hands up here all the time because I like to be able to move that wheel that small amount. I like the weight of the arms that's holding the wheel. My arms are just hanging there. When I turn, I just slide them down and go like this. And then it just slides between your fingers. I know one time I was turning the corner and I went like this and I thought, gee, why didn't I do the push poles? And it's because I didn't slide my hands down. So it's very hard to do push poles when your hands are up here. I know I was in this classroom setting. The state government was giving us this lesson on this new test that we have to give. So the whole classroom was filled full of the gym teachers, the retired people that did this part-time, people that have full-time jobs, and after work they go out there and teach kids to drive. I'm sure there were some full-time driver instructors there, I'm sure. The person giving the presentation, I recognized him. He had written an article in the newsletter, the Traffic Safety Association's newsletter, about how to hang on the steering wheel, that your hands are lower, maybe even down here, then when you turn you go like that. So I recognized him and I asked him a question. I said, is the state government telling us how we need to teach these kids to hang on the wheel or to turn the wheel? He says no, but he says, but there's a new way of doing it. Now when we hang on the wheel, we hang on it down here, and then when we turn, we go up like that. You should have heard that whole classroom full of driver instructors. They all started mumbling with each other. I heard the guy behind me say to his buddy, he says, you can't turn like that. How are you going to turn like that? I had figured out why they can't figure this out. Put your hands up here at 10 and 2 and go ahead and push pull. It doesn't work. So this is where they were taught, the old timers, 10 and 2. I know this one girl, she says, my mom says I can't drive if I do it your way. The push pulls is what she's talking about. I said, why? What's going on? She says, my mom wants one hand firmly on the wheel at all times. So I'm thinking about this. Firm, 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 firm. Must be it's a sliding mom doesn't like. I mean, the book says with hand over hand. Sometimes it may slide between your fingers. Then she says, well, my grandfather was a driver and instructor. Hand over hand to help it back. That's what they're taught, and that's the only way they know. So, I don't know. I hope this helped you. I mean, the government, they don't care how you turn. You push pull. When you take the road test, if that's what you're preparing for, you can't palm the wheel. So if you don't know how to do the push pulls, if you can't do this small little push pull, they don't really care. Hand over hand, they're okay with that, and they're okay with the push pulls. Well, hopefully this helped you on how to go straight, how to turn. And stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be going over some more detailed talks. I'm talking a little bit longer than when I usually talk. So if you like this, like and subscribe, and do what you can do every day to reduce traffic fatalities. Thank you.